Have you ever felt like you're standing still while life keeps moving forward without you? Like you're stuck in the middle of a prayer, one you whispered long ago, and all you've received in return is silence. You watch others receive answers, open doors, new beginnings, but for you, just stillness, delay, waiting, and in that silence, the question grows louder. God, where are you? I know that ache. The ache of waiting for something you can't control. The ache of believing, but barely holding on. But right now, in this very moment, heaven leans close, not with thunder, not with lightning, but with a whisper. And that whisper says, have faith, trust me. Everything arrives right on time. You're not forgotten. You're not abandoned, and your waiting is not wasted. This message, right here, right now, is not a coincidence. It's not just a video. It's a divine interruption in your timeline, a holy pause to remind you God is still writing your story, and He's never late with the ending. So I invite you not just to watch, but to lean in. Stay with me until the final word, because what you're about to hear could change the way you see everything you're going through. If your heart feels something stirring already, if these words feel like they were meant just for you, then take one small step of faith right now. Type in the comments, I trust your timing, God. Because when you declare it, you activate it. You turn your waiting into worship, and you align your heart with heaven's clock. Also, don't forget to like this video. It helps this message reach someone else who feels forgotten. And if you haven't yet, subscribe, because every week heaven might just have another word waiting for you here. Are you ready? Let's begin. You think nothing's happening. You look around and see closed doors, unanswered prayers, delayed dreams, and you begin to wonder if heaven has placed your name on a shelf. But what if the silence isn't empty? What if the stillness is sacred? You see, God doesn't operate on the urgency of your emotions. He doesn't panic when things take time. He's not watching the clock. He's shaping the season. His timing is not like ours. We measure minutes. He measures maturity. We want speed. He wants strength. Because if He gave you everything you asked for, exactly when you asked for it, you might receive it with hands that aren't ready to carry it. A blessing that comes too early becomes a burden. So when it feels like you're stuck in a pause, don't assume He's doing nothing. He's preparing everything, the people, the resources, the timing, even your heart. What you call delay, He calls design. What you call waiting, He calls working. But not in the way you see, because God moves in silence. He builds in shadows. He weaves miracles in places you'll never see until the moment they're revealed. He's aligning what you can't imagine, protecting you from what you didn't even know could harm you, and setting the stage for a scene so precise, so full of grace, that when it finally unfolds, you'll realize why it had to take this long. You may not feel movement, but that doesn't mean there isn't movement. Sometimes the greatest shifts happen underground, like seeds breaking open before they ever break the surface. So don't let the delay deceive you. God is never late, never early, only perfect. And just when you think He forgot, that's when He shows you He was working all along. But here's the part most people miss. And in the next few moments, I'll tell you something most believers never realize about what the wait is really doing to your faith. Something that might just explain the season you're in right now. Stay with me. Silence. The one thing we dread the most when we're desperate for answers, when we cry out to God with trembling hands, cracked voices, and sleepless prayers, and all we hear is nothing. But what if the silence isn't rejection? What if it's an invitation? An invitation to go deeper, not into despair, but into dependence. You see, faith doesn't grow when everything is clear. Faith is born in fog. It thrives in the unseen, and it matures in the waiting rooms of heaven. When God hides His voice, He's not abandoning you. He's training you, because real faith isn't built by knowing what's next. Real faith is built when you choose to keep walking, even when the map disappears. That's where trust becomes real. That's where belief becomes unshakable. Just like a tree doesn't show its roots, but they're growing, stretching, anchoring deep into the earth, your soul is doing the same. God is building an unshakable version of you, not a surface-level believer who only worships when the sky is blue, but one who still says Amen when the clouds are dark. One who trusts not because of what they see, but because of who they know. And here's the beautiful paradox of silence. It feels like distance, but it actually draws you closer, because in the noise we chase answers, but in the quiet we find presence. In the silence, you learn to recognize his whisper. You begin to notice his fingerprints in the small things, a moment of peace you can't explain. A perfectly timed word from someone who had no idea what you were going through, the strength to get up when everything in you wanted to stay down. That's not coincidence. That's God, hidden but never gone. So if you're in a season where heaven feels quiet, don't give up. Don't rush out of the silence, because right there, in that holy stillness, your roots are growing. Your foundation is being strengthened for what's coming next. And trust me, you'll need that strength, because what God is preparing in the next season will require a version of you that only this silence could create. In the next part of this message, I'll tell you why the silence isn't just shaping your faith. It's protecting your future, and once you see it, you'll never hate the waiting season again. Stay with me. Trust, it's easy to say when everything's going right. When prayers are answered, doors are opening, and life feels like a testimony in motion. But what about the days when nothing changes? What about the moments when it feels like God is silent, the sky is closed, and your soul is exhausted? That's where real trust is born. Not in the outcome, but in the daily decision to believe again. Because trust is not a one-time declaration. It's not a feeling that shows up when you're inspired. It's a choice. Every single day, you wake up, look at the same unanswered prayers, and still whisper, I believe you're working. You face the same closed door and still say, I trust you're leading. That's not weakness, that's warrior faith. See, we often wait to feel ready, to feel peace, to feel hope. But if you wait on feelings, you'll wait forever. Because feelings are fragile. They rise and fall with circumstances. But faith stands even when feelings crumble. Trust isn't passive. It's not sitting still hoping something happens. Trust is motion. It's choosing to move forward when nothing around you says, it's time. It's stepping out into the unknown because you're more convinced in who walks with you than what's waiting ahead. And every time you trust without a guarantee, you plant something powerful in the soil of the unseen. A seed of obedience, a seed of surrender, a seed that heaven honors in ways you can't yet imagine, because miracles don't grow in comfort zones. They grow in fields watered by consistency and courage. You don't need to know what tomorrow holds. You just need to wake up and choose God again. Not because it's easy, but because He's worthy. Not because you feel strong, but because He is. And let me tell you a truth that most people overlook. Your quiet, persistent trust is louder in heaven than the biggest public declarations. It moves the heart of God. It shakes things in the spiritual realm. It prepares the way for breakthroughs you didn't even know you needed. So don't underestimate the power of today's yes. Don't minimize the beauty of small daily trust, because what you're building in this unseen season is becoming a bridge to the life you've been praying for. And in the next part of this message, I'll show you why the very thing you're chasing, the dream, the answer, the breakthrough, might already be on its way, and how your trust is pulling it closer than you think. Stay close. We live in a world that glorifies speed, faster answers, instant breakthroughs, overnight success, and somewhere along the way we've been made to believe that faster means better, that if it hasn't happened yet, maybe it never will. But heaven doesn't rush. God doesn't compete with timelines, because what's meant for you will find you at not early, not late, but at the exact moment it's supposed to. Not because you chased it, not because you forced it, but because God ordained it. You don't need to run after what's divine. Divine things are delivered through obedience, through surrender, through trust. Let me tell you something the enemy doesn't want you to realize. You are not behind. You're not delayed. You're not forgotten. You are on God's path, and God's path isn't linear. It's layered. It's not about arriving fast. It's about arriving ready. And while you're looking at others, their timelines, their victories, their highlight reels, you're tempted to think, maybe I missed it. But what you don't see is this. Their journey isn't yours. Your route is custom designed by the one who knows where you need to go and what needs to be built in you before you get there. Don't measure your life by someone else's stopwatch, because if you rush ahead of God's timing, you may end up in a place that looks right, but lacks grace. You might hold something too soon and find out it's heavier than you can carry. But when it's God's time, there's peace, there's provision, there's strength. And here's the miracle. What's meant for you will recognize you. It will fit the shape of your soul. It won't feel like striving. It will feel like alignment. The healing you've been waiting for. The door you've been praying to open. The opportunity that keeps slipping through your fingers. It's not gone. It's simply not time. And sometimes the delay is mercy. Sometimes the no is protection. Sometimes the long road is the only road that leads to the real blessing. So exhale. You haven't missed anything. Nothing holy will pass you by. But in the next few moments, I want to show you something even deeper. What if the wait isn't just about the destination, but about who you're becoming along the way? What if the journey itself is preparing you for a blessing bigger than what you've been asking for? We're almost there. Don't look away now. Waiting. The word itself feels heavy. It stretches time. It tests patience. It tempts you to believe that nothing is happening, that you've been forgotten. But what if I told you the waiting season is sacred? Because it is. It's not an accident. It's not a punishment. It's preparation. We love mountaintops, the view, the breakthrough, the victory, but mountains are not conquered in a leap. They're climbed step by step, inch by inch, with breathless persistence and quiet strength. And that's exactly what God is doing in your waiting. He's forging something in you that couldn't be formed in any other place. He's not just preparing what's coming to you. He's preparing you for what's coming. Because here's the truth no one likes to say. Blessings without preparation can become burdens. Doors that open too early can crush what they were meant to carry. But in the waiting, God refines you. He shapes your identity. He matures your perspective. He deepens your discernment. You begin to recognize what truly matters. You stop chasing temporary applause and start longing for eternal purpose. You stop asking, when will it come? And start praying, make me ready when it does. You see, waiting doesn't weaken faith. It tests it. And tested faith becomes unshakable. Not the kind of faith that only stands when the sun is shining, but the kind that still lifts its hands in worship when everything hurts. It's in the waiting that you learn God isn't just the one who gives blessings. He is the blessing. You discover that His presence is your provision, that His nearness is your answer, even before the miracle arrives. And slowly, without even realizing it, you begin to change. You become stronger, wiser, more anchored. You begin to see that the wait wasn't empty. It was holy ground. The kind of ground where giants fall, where purpose is birthed, where history with God is written in the silence. So don't despise the process. Don't rush what God is shaping with eternity in mind. You're not standing still. You're being built. And soon, sooner than you think, you'll look back on this season and realize it didn't break you. It made you. But before we end this message, there's one final truth you need to hear. It's the heartbeat of everything we've talked about. the divine rhythm beneath your delays, the whisper behind every unanswered prayer. And once you understand this last truth, you'll never wait the same way again. Let's finish this together. So now, listen closely, not with your ears, but with your spirit, because this is not just a message. It's a divine whisper meant for this exact moment in your life. God is saying to you, "My child, trust me. I have not forgotten you. I have not overlooked your prayers, your tears, your quiet endurance in the dark. Every second of waiting is shaping something eternal in you. I am never late. I am never early. I arrive exactly when my glory is ready to be revealed, in you and through you. You are not lost. You are being led. You are not behind. You are being prepared. You are not empty. You are being filled from the inside out. So let your faith rise now, higher than the fear that's been whispering lies. Let your hope burn, brighter than the silence that tried to smother it. Let your spirit shout, even if your voice is trembling, because what God has spoken over your life is unstoppable. What He has ordained for you, no delay can cancel. No storm can steal it. No doubt can drown it. Your miracle is in motion. Heaven is not asleep. The author of time is writing your story, and his pen does not make mistakes. This waiting, it's holy. This silence, it's sacred. This moment, it's a turning point. So step forward, not with fear, but with fire in your soul, with eyes that see beyond the delay, with a heart that believes, my God is still working, and I will not give up now. If your spirit feels this truth, declare it. Type in the comments right now, "I trust your timing, Lord." Let those words echo in heaven and on earth. Let them be your battle cry. Let them be your seed of unshakable faith. Like this video, if it awakened something in you, share it with someone who needs this word. Subscribe and walk this journey with us, a path of faith, fire, and divine purpose. And never forget this, the promise is alive. The clock of heaven is ticking, and your appointed time is coming. In His name, Amen.